feels so cringe doing things in your room, but we gotta get past that. Nobody gives a fuck. What do I think about me? What's up, y'all? This is Kyrie Nashim, aka neosouled, and today we are back with another Artist Way chapter review. So, this chapter was restoring a sense of abundance, and honestly, I really connected with it. It was basically talking about how creativity requires you to have that sense of abundance, a sense of expansion. And in order to have that sense of expansion, you also need to give yourself a feeling of luxury, a feeling of pampering yourself. It was really talking a lot about self care. It was talking a lot about self care, also about getting out of your own way and allowing God or the universe to bless you. It was tapping back into the common theme that I'm getting with this book that is saying that God wants you to accomplish the things that are true in your heart, your dreams, your hopes, and all of your goals. And a lot of times we think that God doesn't want us to fulfill our desires. And so we miss out on the opportunities and the blessings that are presented to us because we're not really looking out for them. And so this chapter in particular was talking about your mindset and how basically a lot of times we can be creatively blocked because we are so focused on the sensation and the feeling of being blocked. That focus blinds us to the blessings. So I took a lot of notes, and one of them was we got to get out of our own way and allow God, allow the universe to bless us. And God can only bless you if you believe that God wants to help you fulfill your desires. A lot of times we have this mindset about God, about the universe, about life, that it's out to get us, and that we have a limited supply of opportunities or blessings or avenues to bring us to what we want. But really, we have to have that sense of abundance, just knowing that there are many ways that we could get to one result. She literally says, art is based off of expansion and the feeling of sufficient supply. That's why it's crucial to pamper ourselves, to nurture ourselves, to do that self-care, because that is what brings that sense of abundance to us. That's how we can create that. And it doesn't require spending a lot of money. That's a big thing that she irons out too. Pampering yourself, loving yourself, and creating that sense of abundance, it doesn't require spending a lot of money. She even put an example of a man who does spend a lot of money on himself, but he still doesn't have that sense of abundance because he's doing it out of obligation. He's not spending it on things that feed his inner child. He's not spending it on things that he truly wants to spend his money on. He's spending it on what he should spend his money on. And that's why he still feels blocked. So going back to that thing that she said about powerlessness, how we can feel powerless and focus on that sensation of powerlessness, and that's what blocks us. She also says that art requires us to have a sense of choice. Art requires us to have a sense of choice. And one of the most important and impactful choices that we can make is the choice to do self-care, to nurture ourselves. And self-care is what helps us tap into that feeling and that sense of abundance. And once we're tapped into that feeling of abundance, we can then act on faith. I wish that I had a whiteboard so I could literally draw it out, because it's like a system, you know? I don't know if it's linear in that sense, but it's like art requires expansion and abundance. Art requires you to move on faith with the knowledge that God supports you. But in order to create that sense of abundance, and in order not to get caught up in the feelings of constriction and the feelings of powerlessness that prevent us from truly manifesting, from truly putting our stuff out there, we have to create that feeling by loving ourselves. We have to create that feeling by being extra for ourselves. And it's not even extra, you know, it's required. And so she talks about how pampering looks different for each and every one of us, that self-care looks different for all of us. And she gave the example saying basically that there's somebody out there that the self-care that they need is raspberries, you know, like they love raspberries in their fruit, raspberry smoothies, blah, blah, blah. Like that's a simple luxury that they give themselves. And so I wrote down, what are your raspberries? Is it a glass of wine? Is it a blend? Is it a walk in the park? You know, like for me, I would say my raspberries are nature, like spending time in nature, spending time amongst the trees in the forest. I feel like spending too much time in the house really gets to me and it brings me down. I feel like I suffer with my thoughts. And so just being active in that way, taking walks, taking hikes, I'm very blessed that I live in probably one of the best cities for that in the world. But do I do it often? No, because while I have the ability to do it, I feel like I have all these other things that I should be doing. I have all these other things that I feel like I should be doing. And so that's why for me, that is a luxury. That's a luxury that I'm denying myself. And aside from physical things, she also really emphasized that time is a huge luxury. Time is a huge luxury. And I want to quote from the book. She says that, let me be clear that the luxury I'm talking about here has nothing to do with penthouse views, designer clothes, zippy foreign sports cars, or first class travel. This man enjoys all those privileges, but what he doesn't enjoy is his own life. He has denied himself the luxury of time. Time with friends, time with family, and above all, time to himself with no agendas of preternatural accomplishment. I'm not gonna act like I know what preternatural accomplishment means, but he is giving himself time to himself with no agendas. And how many of y'all out there can relate to that? That was a big thing for me, even this week specifically, because what I've been trying to do is go outside more, make sure that I'm spending the majority of my day outside, especially because now the days are getting shorter, the year is coming to an end. And I realized that one of the things that was preventing me from doing it is I would think, oh, I have these obligations that I need to do, but I also want to go outside. That's also an obligation. And so I would try and stack all of them together. And I recognize that although my heart is in the right place, my mind is in the right place, doing that just increases the chance that I'm going to procrastinate and not do it all together. So then you're procrastinating on multiple things at once. So yeah, I learned that I don't need to always stack all of my obligations at once. I don't need to make going outside something productive. Obviously, that's a goal, but if going outside more in general is already something that I'm working on, it's not always the best to just stack a bunch of things on top of each other. And so that's why I really relate. I feel like that's where I connect. That's what my going outside needs to be. Even aside from like the fitness aspect, even aside from like the health aspect, of course it's healthy, but that should be my time to just go outside and do me. Just have time to myself with no agendas. What we really want to do is what we're really meant to do. And it's as simple as that. That's what I mean when she's talking about the concept of God wants to support you. God is supporting you. It's just about you, me, us together, getting out of our own way, opening our minds, and walking with faith. But also loving ourselves, pampering ourselves, nurturing ourselves, doing that work that you don't want to do. And there's a lot that comes with that. It's like the morning pages, doing the artist dates, and just going that extra mile for yourself. I feel like the concept of self-love and even the concept of nurturing yourself and pampering yourself is nothing new to me, of course. And I feel like, thankfully, we live in the day and age where that is something that is popularly said. But rarely do we put it in action. And for me personally, I've never had it connect in that way when it comes to the why and the how. Loving yourself and going that extra mile, doing the most for yourself, can help support your goals and support your dreams. And like I said, this whole artist way thing, the deeper I get, and even from the first page, you know that it's more than just art. But at the same time, creation isn't everything, like this is me working on myself as a creator of these video analysis, video diaries, radio, and all that. Also, me just working on being a creator of my life and working with the divine creator, which is God, which is the universe, whatever you believe in, you feel me? But you have to act on faith. You have to act on faith that God, the universe, will make a way for you and that you are supported by the divine. You are supported by the great creator in your own creativity. God wants us to create. And moving on faith means that the intention has to come first. The action has to come first. The money will come later. The means will come later. A lot of times we can block ourselves from opportunities because as soon as they present ourselves, we start focusing on all the reasons why we can't do it, all the reasons why we're not prepared, or we don't have the money, or we would fumble the opportunity, but we're not realizing that we're counting ourselves out from the opportunities that we're getting. And in the book, she literally says that we think that we're blocked because we don't have money, but we're really blocked because of our feeling of constriction and our sense of powerlessness. And so I know it's kind of woo woo if you don't understand, and I'm not saying that you can simply think yourself out of your problems, but I get what she's saying, you know? Like, if you're gonna be in the situation regardless, it doesn't do you any good to just focus on the fact that you're in the situation and just focusing on all of your limitations. That's what I really like about the book in general. I feel like so much of what she says in this book, you can apply it to creativity, but I really see it as affecting so many different aspects of just life in general. It feels so cringe doing things in your room, but we gotta get past that. Nobody gives a fuck. What do I think about me? I think I'm fly. I think I'm fucking proud of myself because I did this. Oh, and I left something out. I'm glad I just turned the camera back on because I left something out. Mind you, I did not do the challenges this week, but I do want to do the challenges. So I haven't done the actual tasks yet, but I did skim them and I really liked what I was reading. One of the challenges is basically you need to carry around a notebook and write down every single time you spend money. I think that's a great idea. I don't have a lot of money to spend, but I do want to do that in the future. This one is titled Creation, and she wrote, bake something. Creativity does not always have to involve capital A art. Very often, the act of cooking something can help you cook something up in another creative mode. When I'm stymied as a writer, I make soups and pies. And I've been making a lot of soup. I was just making a soup in last episode, and I'm about to start on a soup right now. So I think I'm on the right path. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and check out the playlist for other episodes of this Artist Way journey. This has been Kyrie Nashim, aka Neosouled. And remember that your mind is a garden, your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds.